Welcome to Scheissebox. Here's your host. Oh yeah, oh yeah, ho 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 ho, oh yeah, ho 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 ho. Get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome none at all, to the one and only Scheissebox. You're welcome. We showed up today, so you will be entertained at our leisure of entertaining. And you might be saying, when does that start? Anyhow, moving straight into it, today we are talking about weekends, right? It's like, raise your hand if you've ever had one of those. Excellent, yes. We've had a weekend here, believe it or not. And you might be saying, it's the weekend now, dumbass. Okay, fair enough. But was it the weekend when it started? Or is it still the weekend when it finishes and when it ends? Because no matter how you look at it, whether you're approaching the end of a week and the weekend starts it, or you're approaching the beginning of the week and the weekend ends it, you know, either way, weekends center around the week. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I hope we're on the same page, obviously. Let's get to the important stuff. Let's talk about how weekends can be, yes, good, bad, long, short, happy, sad, eventful, eventless. You know, there's all sorts of ways that you can view how a weekend is or can be. Let's talk about some of the ways they can be good. Please don't. Well, we're going to. They can be good. Maybe you get fired from your job on a Friday afternoon when you were scheduled that whole weekend. Bam! 3 days off. Well, and then more days off too, but a minimum of 3 days off right there. Because no one wants to go look for a job on Monday, right? That's when you're supposed to, you know, well, shit, I guess you would have to at that point. I don't know, it doesn't matter. The point is that, you know, if you had a great, longer weekend than expected, that's a good thing. That makes for a good weekend. Now, let's say maybe there's an event that was approaching that you were really looking forward to. You're like this stream ending? Well, okay, all right, sure. So, in the weekend, you were looking forward to the stream ending. Like, God, thankfully, he finally freed up the internet from being bogged down from running so slow. What the hell is this Wi-Fi speed? We'd be saying, we're boomers. We don't know what Wi-Fi speed even means. You're lucky that we can even get this to be uploaded on the internet, let alone done in a working fashion where you can, yes, interact with a real-life boomer and ask us all sorts of life questions like, why did we screw up the environment? And why did we ruin the world? And why did we do all sorts of messed up stuff? And we'd be saying, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, slow down. There's plenty of times to answer none of your questions coming in through the chat. But are we really capable of speaking on behalf of all boomers, or boomers as a whole? You might be saying, well, we got to blame someone. It's like, okay, well, it looks like a pretty easy target is Elon Musk, and he hasn't hooked us up with a free Tesla for Grok jacking our name up every single time we ask him shit. So, you know, maybe you could take it out on him. Now, we're not saying to, because we happen to, you know, appreciate and really, really like a lot of stuff that he's done. So that's probably a really bad idea. So don't do that. You know, but if you're looking for a target or something like that, then, you know, go ahead and make it us. We'll take it. We'll take it for Elon Musk. You hear that, Elon? People can call us the names, yes, yes, and blame us for the boomer of the stuff that has happened to the world. But that's not what this episode's about. If you want an apology stream, just wait until we do about 5 more of these. There's going to be all sorts of stuff we're going to have to apologize for. We should preemptively apologize for everything. Like starting? Yes, like starting. Hey, wait, what? Stop putting words in our own mouth. The point is that this episode has already gone off the rails a little bit. We need to rein it back in. You might be saying, Okay, just end it. But if we did that, we couldn't try and milk every single aspect of trying to get money from YouTube. You know, we sure do like money, especially when people give it to us. And if there's one company we would love to give us money, it's YouTube. So, if no one else wants to give it to us, then we'll just kind of, hang out until they give it to us. So there you go. Anyhow, weekends. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about why we're all really here. No one else is streaming. Fair enough. No one else is streaming. Well, surely they are. Send us the link so we can watch that one too. Point is that weekends come, weekends go, and yes, they can be fun, they can be eventful, they can be sad. Maybe there's an event that you've been looking forward to, okay? Maybe, your buddy's getting hitched, and you're like, oh man, I have been looking forward to going all the way to wherever, this thing's taking place, and partaking in this thing taking place. And you'd be like, oh wow, super awesome. What an eventful weekend. But say the wrong kind of events occur while you're on your way to said engagement, okay? Say it is your buddy getting hitched. You're like, oh wow, this is going to be the greatest weekend, man. I haven't seen Billy in forever. Billy's a real nice guy. Can't believe he accidentally invited us to his wedding. I'll bet his wife made him. Our sister's real nice to let us come. Anyhow, Billy's like, does your brother really have to come in? And they're like, yeah, you got to send him the invite. They're like, oh, we don't need any celebrities at our wedding. It's like, yes, shitty celebrities, obviously. Oh, we get ahead of ourselves. They're like, okay, an eventful wedding, but you're on your way. You're thinking it's going to be all great. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, you get a flat tire. It's like, well, that fun and eventful wedding just became not as fun, right? If you're sitting there thinking, you know what is fun or isn't fun? Flat tires, those usually fall under the not fun category. And if we're being honest, we think that's exactly where they belong, because they aren't that fun. So really shouldn't have them. People shouldn't get them. People shouldn't want to get them. So if you're getting flat tires out there, you probably shouldn't. Excellent. So, point is that a good weekend can become a bad weekend right off the bat. And it can really just kind of weigh everything down and, make you have a less than ideal, outlook on how the weekend shaped up as a whole. Now, say you don't get a flat tire, you go and you have a most awesome experience and time at your buddy's getting hitched event wedding, all right? Then it probably was a pretty good weekend. Okay, now, if you get a little too rambunctious, end up getting arrested during the event and ceremony, and then it ends up being so bad, your family pretty much, it's like, we don't know who that is, officer. Go ahead and get him out of here. It's like, hey, what do you mean, guys? That's not a funny joke anymore. They're like, we'll pick you up tomorrow. Like, what? Sleep that shit off. We don't even know what that means. The point is that a wedding or an event, or a weekend, as in the case of this example, can go from being excellent and eventful to being not as great, not as fun. But let's talk about ways that things like weekends can be sad, okay? Let's say maybe you had big plans on a weekend and they got canceled. It's like your buddy's like, hey, I'm going to roll through, man, and yeah, I got that $20 you can borrow. And then he's like, oh, man, sorry, I'm not going to make it after all. Chad said you still owe him money, too. It's like, what? What does Chad know? He probably barely can keep up with how much we owe him, let alone be able to inform you accurately as to why you shouldn't lend us $20. Jeez. The point is that your weekend plans can change instantaneously. All of a sudden, it's like, well, you know what, Chad? You're not getting anything back now. You just cost us $20. That was coming straight to you, dumbass. Oh, anyhow, that $5 we would have given them back towards the balance would have really gone a long way. And, we would have paid back that, the rest of it. Anyhow, that doesn't matter. Weekends can be sad because your plans change, and you're like, yeah, that's true. And we know it is, yes, because we are correct. Obviously, we're wearing a tie, and we are, boomers, so there you go. So, obviously, we're correct. We're mostly boomers, we fall in a weird category of, we say we'll take the blame for everything that the boomer generation really did and stuff, and messing stuff up. If we feel they messed stuff up, I don't know. We haven't been paying attention. Stuff messed up, probably, but it was when we checked in last time, so it's nothing new. Yes, hello. Welcome to all of the, greatness that is talking about weekends and them being good, bad, or somewhere in between. Exciting, funny, or sad. So, you haven't missed anything. In fact, everyone would probably wish that we just started everything completely over, but it's too late for that. It already exists, and even if we knew how, we wouldn't, because that sounds like more work. So, anyhow, we are well. Yes, we hope that you are well, too. We hope that this weekend was fun and eventful for you, as fun and eventful as you wanted it to be. Sometimes a laid-back, chill weekend is exactly what is in store. Sometimes you want the Netflix of the chill, and you're just hoping that it rains all weekend, so there's even more of an excuse to not, let's say, reach or meet all of your obligations, like going to work or doing what you're supposed to, okay? So it's like, hey, it's raining, obviously. Do you want me to risk slipping on my way to do stuff, for work? That sounds like a bad idea. The office is inside. That doesn't matter. You work from home. That's also beside the point. We work from basement. Your mom's basement. That's right. But we hope that you are well as well. So yes, hello, and hi. You like our videos? Well, is today opposite day? Because that's what it sounds like. Are you pranking us again, Mom? Is that another fake account that you've made just to try and talk us up, only to say that was you at dinner time? You're wasting your life. What? No, we have a college degree. Obviously, we're using it just like everyone else who has one. So, that's true. Yes, see, exactly. We should have gone to tech school. Learned something valuable. But, we did learn something valuable. That you can't do shit over. So, holy shit, you better have your life lined up before people tell you, go do this, go do this, go do this. You're really supposed to. Because, man, you know what? You know what those people who told me to go to college aren't doing? Paying back all my shit. Anyhow, it'd be nice if they did. They're like, oh, you need this degree. Oh, yeah? What for? AI's way better at doing shit than we are. Have you seen AI's videos? Speaking of liking our videos, much appreciated, yes, as well. We don't... we play a role here because we know we are celebrities and have celebrity status, yes. The shittiest of the celebrities and the worst of the celebrity status, but that is because we claimed that ground floor level. We never have to do as much work as all the better celebrity, entertainers out there. Your Angries of the Joes, your Asmins of the Golds, your good people out there that make videos, right? We don't compete with them. They're too not boomer. That's above our pay grade. That's the new management. Entry level. We're in the fucking office. They forgot to fire us down here, and they accidentally taught us how to use some technology, and we're live. So, yes, interact with us. We are celebrities. Yes, shitty ones. Okay. We accept that. But we get the monikers that come with it. So, it's a trade-off. we're all right being the worst at something. Like, obviously, like we said, AI makes the best videos out there. You want great videos, you tell AI to make them. So, when people are like, oh man, you spend your weekends working through college, you spend your weekends writing papers for all of these classes that you're taking in college. You spend your weekends dedicating your life to the art of learning. But are you really learning at that point, or are you regurgitating? Believe you me, we regurgitate all sorts of crap. We loves our influences that have come across our, a lifetime. Everything from movies to cartoons to TV shows to, comedians, okay? Individuals, people that we interacted with on a day-to-day, that we ripped off all of their greatness. We're like, hey, this is the best thing about you. We're going to take it and add it to our repertoire of regurgitation. When we're sitting in some of those college classes and we're like, not thinking really about how much it was costing us to be there, but in hindsight, man, at one point we were working 3 jobs to get through college, and we still graduated with student loans. That's no one's fault but ours. We knew what we were signing up for. We're not saying pay ours back. We'll take care of our shit. Somehow, I don't know. Bankruptcy's still a thing, right? That's still an option. We're not saying we do that. No, try not to, obviously. Succeed, and you can do. And believe you me, we keep our head above water the best we can. There's always our neighbors throwing away shit right at the expiration date because they think it went bad. It's like, you cut that part off, dude, and it's fine. So anyhow, we're just saying we can live. We're able to live. But anyhow, let's talk more about weekends and pretend like none of the last 5 minutes happened. Let's pretend this whole thing didn't happen. Okay, fair enough. We'll all wake up and be like, what do we do in the early hours of whenever it was, or the late hours, or hell, I don't know, whenever. We'll be like, I don't know. We don't talk about that. And that's probably for the best. So, anyhow, hold on. Management's calling. What do you want? We're at work. We're doing the show and everything. Yeah. No. Yeah, we think they bought it. Yeah, Yeah, okay, well, stop interrupting. All right. Okay, stop acting like you know how to run the place better than us. Yeah, management, right? Always thinking they know the right calls and decisions to make. But we digress. Let's get back to weekend talk and weekend chat, because that's what this episode's about. And you might be saying, let's change what the episode's about. And it's like, okay, we'll do that. We won't change the thumbnail, but if you want to talk about something or anything else, feel free to let us know what you want to talk about. Otherwise, we're sticking with the weekend topic. Yesterday, we started with We Believe Poetry because everyone loves poetry except for those people who don't. But even they probably like it. So there you go, everyone loves poetry. But then they were like, do some of those great impressions that you're pretty much not known for. We're like, oh, well, we don't mind if we do. So that's what the people want. That's what they get. Or that's what the, bots want. That's what they get. Either way, we're almost like the human version of AI will do, almost anything. Especially, crazy shit for money, too. Oh, you wouldn't believe. Anyhow, weekends. Say that you have a concert or a show that you're looking forward to going to, and you're like, oh, man, there's a concert coming up that I'm really looking forward to. I can't believe that Hanson's reunion and retouring under the banner of Bop 2025. It's like, oh, wow, Hanson, Bop, oh, let me touch your long, luscious locks, Hanson brother, sisters. It's like, yes, that's this weekend. And it's like, oh, no, but it's unfortunately not coming to fruition. Or at least they're probably not touring, especially under the Bop banner. Because, let's be honest, well, they should be, but they're not, and it's a letdown for us because we know We're not going to be able to do that this weekend, okay? There's no sitting right up front and watching them wail on their keyboard and guitar and drums as they serenade us with their melodies of 90s glory. So, it leads to the weekend. We have to find something else to do. So maybe we end up doing nothing. And then it becomes a boring weekend. Or maybe we wanted to do nothing from the get-go. And then it becomes the exact weekend that was ideally wanted and desired. You can make anything happen and come to fruition that you want. So, you should, obviously, just because we say that things might have been different or worked out different or equated differently because of how we did some of our youthful upbringing and growings of the ups. Did you grow up? Huh? What? Yes, probably. The state thinks we did. Every time we're in front of a judge. Okay? You might think we're immature, but the state says, you're an adult. So, this is adulting. How we see fit. Anyhow, we're just screwing around, obviously. But what we don't screw around with is our weekend talk. And while we might have screwed around with it this time, we didn't mean to, so we're not probably going to do it again, or we will. It doesn't matter. We get to do whatever we want. But the point is that weekends can be really good or really bad, and you can make them into whatever you want them to be. So that's pretty much it. We're running out of material talking about weekends here, so feel free to interact or not, we can change what the show's about. We can really do anything on the fly. You can solicit advice from us. We got all sorts of advice that you wouldn't want. So let's check in with these nuns of comments we can't keep up with. Well, looks like everyone wants us to keep milking the weekend talk. All right? We know that's what you want. You're so infatuated. You're like, oh my gosh. All of these regurgitated, reiterated aspects of how a weekend can be the exact same thing he said about one or two different ways so far. I guarantee you he'll find a third way to do it now. Because no one could come up with anything better to get this dude to perform a trick. And we'd be saying, okay, blame them. So, weekends, huh? Have you ever had one that you were like, thinking was going to be excellent, okay? And it ended up being more excellent than you thought it was going to be. Now, sometimes excitement is hard to hold back in scenarios and situations. Sometimes you can be just completely in awe of what you thought was just going to be awe-inspiring out of the gate and fizzle out. But it remains and adheres to those standards of greatness. And then it becomes the most spectacular, remarkable that you could ever possibly imagine. It's like those weekends, those are the ones to look out for. Because they end up being really awesome. So obviously, you see how we painted it and portrayed it to be such. So, in all aspects of life, unfortunately, all of them can't be spectacular. So let's run through a bad one. Oh, no. Well, we have to. We have to keep it even. We have to keep it balanced. So, let's say you are scheduled to work on a weekend, okay, Saturday morning. You're like, well, I'm still going to party Friday night because it's Friday night. So you do. And as you get older, you're like, whoa, that was a mistake. But, whatever. You roll with it, right? So then you got to wake up Saturday and you're like, oh, you wake up late. Well, your weekend just got a little bit worse. And do you attribute that to you staying out late and take the blame for your own actions? Or do you do what the rest of society does and pin it on someone else? Well, we're not going to tell you what we'd do in that case or situation, but, who blames themselves and who blames their alarm clock for not going off, right? Who doesn't just own up to it and be like, oh man, I missed my alarm, versus my alarm didn't go off, or I didn't hear my alarm go off. I forgot to set my alarm. Okay, yeah, I guess you own up to that one. Well, whatever. However it works out, either way, your weekend just got a little bit worse because you're behind. Okay? So in trying to rush out the door, get to work, you're like, things get just a little bit worse, a little bit worse. You're going so fast you stub your toe. You fall down because you're hopping around trying to put on your pants. It's like it just got a little bit worse, a little bit worse. You go to pour coffee and you spill it while you're doing it, and you either got to leave it to clean up later or clean it up then, but you still spilled it. Or you spilled it on you. You got to change your outfit. If it gets progressively worse, when does it start getting better? Well, that's a good question, right? No, I guess we got to answer it because we asked it. Or we just leave it like that and then we just segue somehow. But we can try and answer it. When it gets better? It gets better sometimes when you just stop and take a deep breath and you realize, fuck it, I'm late. Whatever, and it's, what are they going to do? Fire me? You're like, yeah, and I really need this job. Okay, fair enough. Well, you shouldn't have partied on Friday night. That's on you. No, it's my alarm clock's fault. Okay, yeah. Screw those alarms. Totally their fault. I don't know. I say blame the alarm, yeah. Or just show up. Don't even tell them you're late. Just, roll in and be like, this is when I felt like showing up. You guys don't dictate my schedule. The staff's outside. They're like, but you have the key to open the door. 12 customers have rolled through. Like, what's going on? I don't know. The management never showed up with the key to open the door. It's like, you should check that shit. I didn't even lock it last night. They're like, oh, it was open the whole time. It's like, yeah, so, who's really at fault for stuff not going the way it's supposed to? You could have gone in. What was stopping you from seeing if that door was open? It's supposed to be locked. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a good reason. Yeah, mostly. Yeah. All right, well, fair enough. Okay, anyhow. What were we talking about? Weekends? Ah, gee, we told you we were milking it. It's a little different than, when we do shows on poetry, right? We've written so many poems over the years that they're all up here. You could mention virtually any topic at all, and we could recite one off the top of our head. So, when we're doing a show and, gracing the interior zone of the nets with our presence, which, we do on occasion, and we think to ourselves, selves, we could do poetry for days because we're poetic individuals. But, we do the harder shows, like talking about generic terms like weekends, to show you that we don't stray away from these hard-hitting topics, okay, that you can't keep up with, okay, that go by so fast that it's like a fast weekend. And now we're going to talk about fast weekends. You're welcome. Fast weekends are weekends that go by too fast. Maybe because you spend the whole time incarcerated and you're like, God, I don't get out until Monday, and then, you look back on it and you're like, man, boy, wasn't that not fun. Or you end up just working all weekend or something like that, and it goes by in a flash. You're like, wow, that was a fast weekend. Well, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. So, there you go. Anyhow, that's pretty much all we're going to talk about now. So if you got any other questions or you want to get out of here before us, now's your chance to do so. Otherwise, ask away. Feel free to interact. But we find ourselves at a part in the weekend where it's coming to an end. As we roll around and get ready to start the new week, we think to ourselves, we say, selves, what did we do this weekend? Well, this was 4th of July weekend. We think back to when it started. We got to see some fireworks. We got to light off some fireworks. That was fun. We got to catch a couple flicks. We took a nap on one day. That was great. What a fantastic weekend. Weekends are what you make out of them. So, if you missed your fireworks display, or you hate fireworks and didn't want a fireworks display, and they kept you up at night and you hated it, maybe you had a horrible weekend. And for those of us lighting them off, which, did we say that was us? We meant that wasn't us. That was someone else. That was our neighbor. Throws away shit before it's even bad. Have we told you about him before? Anyhow, maybe, the 4th of July isn't your bag, baby, and you're like, yeah, it's not. The fireworks, they're too loud, they're too noisy, they're too keep me uppy. We get it. Maybe, for some people, they don't like celebrating the New Year's. And when people go around banging pots and pans and setting off fireworks and boom booms, it leads to just a not good weekend. What if it falls during the weekdays? I don't know. Does that happen? Probably. We don't calendar. Do we look like we keep up with that? No. What's today? That's the weekend. Or it's not anymore. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Because it's always going to be the weekend at some point. And it always was the weekend some time ago. So, it's just that continuous cycle that is crazy, such as life. It's also the continuous cycle that gets people to stop and keep standing on our lawn and ruining it. So, we don't need your subscription. We want your money. So, download the shit out of this and give us a buck. Get off our lawn!